Hey, Topaz here. Oh, hey Numby. Today I'll be going over Topaz and all the changes that have occurred since her release in 1.4. We didn't even have the follow-up set when she was first out, and we have a couple new planars and relic sets on top of that. Oh, and Lycons too. Her kit is well known, so this update will be focused on updating her build, giving a stat goal, and then talking about various topics like E1 versus S1 and how she synergizes with every unit released since 1.4. Like and sub if you want to catch more of these character updates, and let's begin. Hey, Gobe is here to talk about today's sponsor, Black Clover M, Rise of the Wizard King. It is a turn-based RPG all about the fantastical Black Clover series. Not only does it follow the anime story, it's also voiced by the original anime voice actors. It is very visually stunning during cutscenes, but even in battle with all of these amazing effects. And the gameplay is satisfying and rewarding. It is also the half-year anniversary, so it is a perfect time to hop on, and they're giving away 100 free pulls just like that, just in time to pull the brand new Spirit type Yuno, who definitely looks like an OP attacker. If they don't tickle your fancy, Black Aster is also making a return for the anniversary. Both look incredible, but they're not just for looks. You have the main storyline to progress through, raids, boss fights, and you can even team up in guilds to flex on your friends with your brand new SSRs. If your friends have someone you really want, there's a reroll event on top of all the other rewards where you have 999 chances to get the characters of your dream. So download now to get those reroll chances and those 100 pulls and enjoy the realms and kingdoms of Black Clover. Make sure to click the link in the description to download Black Clover M, Rise of the Wizard King, or scan the QR code now and I'll see you in game. Goba out. Anyway, back to Topaz and Numby with a quick refresher on Topaz and whether you should pull her or not. She is a fire hunt unit and a follow-up main or secondary DPS. She has shifted into more of that secondary DPS role as she brings high single target damage as well as a lot of damage amping. You can combine her with follow-up carries like Dr. Ratio, Jingyuan, Clara. I have run her as a hypercarry in the past due to our lack of fire carries, and it works decently too. However, I would not recommend pulling for her as a fire DPS specifically, especially with Firefly on the horizon. For pure fiction especially, we have Himiko who is just stronger. Topaz isn't really usable there, outside of follow-up focus buffs like our current one. If you're planning to pull her for the Ratio Exodia team, just know that Hypercarry Ratio absolutely smacks without any of the normal follow-up team components, and even in the Rat team, Topaz can be replaced by Silverwolf or Pella. I think she is still a great pickup as the new units keep on synergizing great with her and boosting her kit's identity even further. Robin and Aventurine have made Topaz's high-frequency attacks even more powerful, and any future follow-up unit may love her in their team. So if you love follow-up, why not? And no, you don't need E1 S1 Topaz for her to function in this team or any team. You might want it for optimal damage, but Ratio's debuff conditions are fulfilled with the Rat team alone with just an E1 or S1 Topaz or S1 Aventurine. Anything on top is just an extra comfy bonus. If you have Ruan Mei instead of Robin, then it's even a little easier on debuffs too. Now this may be anecdotal experience, but I've been clearing fine with my E0 S0 Topaz ever since 1.4, even on meme hypercarry teams. And yes, even without my E2 deal on the second side, so please don't hurt me. Anyway, let's now talk about her E1 or S1. Her Eidolon 1 applies a brand new debuff, the Debtor state, to the enemy with Proof of Debt when they are attacked by any follow-ups. It doesn't even need to be Topaz. It stacks up to 2 times and gives in total a 50% crit damage buff to all follow-up attacks to said target. Her S1 does a similar thing, on top of an 18% crit rate and 30% follow-up damage buff to the wearer will apply the Tame debuff to enemies that they attack with follow-ups. This stacks up to 2 times and gives in total a 24% crit damage buff, but to all attacks to said target, not just follow-up attacks. So ally skills, ults, basics all get the crit damage buff. From testing, this won't buff Robin's Concerto hits though due to its fixed crit values. The E1 requires Proof of Debt, applies to only follow-ups, and anyone can stack it. It also disappears when Proof of Debt does. S1 requires no prior debuffs, applies to all attack types, and only Topaz can stack it, but it'll only leave when the enemy just dies. She can also stack it on any enemy, regardless of Proof of Debt. E1 is technically a little more damage if always versus one target, but that's not happening. So considering multiple enemies, the versatility of the Light Cone, and the ease of build for Topaz, I definitely prefer S1 to E1. It's also easier to win the 75-25 than a 50-50 and saves important Lycones like Stellar C for your other hunt carries. As for builds, what has changed? She released in 1.4 where we only had 2 Fire 2 Musketeer that we could use on her. Now we have Grand Duke, which is most of the time her best in slot. There was a lot of misinfo about how it would not work well on Topaz because she resets it, but it resets before the attack happens anyway, so Numby will always reset his own attack percent stacks. He stacks it up nearly to the max every follow-up with his 7 hits, and he will max it every enhanced follow-up, increasing the damage every hit up to the final explosive 8th hit, which has a massive multiplier. This is her best in slot 99% of the time. However, there is another. Pioneer can in fact be her best by a couple percent if and only if you maximize its passive. Now that could be done in the Rat team since you are maximizing debuffs already. Your Proof of Debt is 1, your E1 or S1 can be 1, and then the usual like Ruan Mei ult debuff, breaks, Aventurine ult, Aventurine signature can all do it. And she can get the crit doubling effect easily with her skill or Numby reapplying himself. E1 or S1 again can really help with this. So it does mean you can use Pioneer pieces if you have them, however, I still recommend to just run Duke. This is because you target swap a lot and the new target might not necessarily have debuffs. The difference is barely there, but I thought I'd mention Pioneer in case you haven't farmed Duke. But please go farm that cavern, it's amazing. You can also get your Topaz with a 2 Prisoner 2 Duke right from the get-go. Planars have shifted a little now too. Before it was inert winning, but Izumo wins by a couple percentage if you do run the double hunt team. If you plan on putting her in multiple teams, then inert remains the best to farm. Glamoth is also a fine option if you have it lying around, but it won't be beating inert. For main stats, it's the same: crit chest, speed boots, damage percent orb, and attack percent rope. Especially with the Duke's set's attack percent as well as Robin, that damage percent orb is very valuable now. With Ruan Mei, you might be able to make a cracked attack percent orb work instead. For a stat goal, aim for at least 2.5k attack, 80 to 160 crit, and 135 speed. Ideally, she goes ahead of your ratio to apply her initial Proof of Debt on the correct target, as well as any debuffs from E1 and or S1. Lycones have not changed too much. Her best is her signature, of course. Stellar C, Sleep Like the Dead, Sword Player, all great options as always, and Silence Remains can work into low target situations. However, the Final Victor MOC Lycone from 2.0 is a great and free-to-play Lycone and has much easier uptime than Stellar C. It will want you to stack more crit rate, and the crit damage buff will skew you back towards a nice 1 to 2 ratio either way. The Rat team seems to give a ton of crit damage buffs either way, so having a lopsided ratio to crit rate is just fine. Now, despite Ratio and Aventurine being on the Lycone art stands for Aventurine Ratio Topaz, which is why Final Victor works so well on her. And finally, let's see who has released since 1.4 and how they can synergize with Topaz. In 1.5, Huohuo released, offering energy and attack buffs to the whole team with some great sustain. She can actually help out with Topaz's lower SP consumption rotations, and since Huohuo can do this for multiple allies, she can also fix Ratio's weird energy cost on top. And why not also supercharge Robin's rotation at the same time? I found her uncomfy compared to Aventurine, but she is definitely the next best option for this follow-up team. 1.6 saw Ruan Mei and Ratio release. Ratio doesn't really need an introduction. He is our premier follow-up DPS unless you need AoE, and Topaz synergizes very well with him. Although you don't need to use Ratio to use Topaz, we did get him for free, so why not? They are a very fun and strong pairing. Izumo also works as their best in slots in this team if you want to farm both at the same time, but so does Inert Salsato if not. Ruan Mei exploded expectations and became the premier dual DPS buffer, which is perfect for Topaz since she is generally run as a secondary DPS to a follow-up carry. This means in every Topaz team, you can now plop down Ruan Mei and do excellently. 2.0 brought us Sparkle. If running Topaz Hypercarry, this was actually a pretty cool unit to grab due to the pseudo 160 speed she could provide, on top of course, those delicious buffs and SP. Topaz Hypercarry enjoys are quite rare though. Aventurine came out in 2.1 and is a universally amazing sustain, but definitely shines even harder in follow-up centric teams. Topaz buffs him and enables blind bet stacking like crazy, whilst Aventurine enables Topaz with his follow-ups bringing forth even more Numby advances. He also brings debuffs on his ult and S1 and E2 if you're daring, helping alleviate problems in ratio teams if you didn't pick up luxury upgrades for Topaz. And finally, Robin and Harmony MC dropping in 2.2 changed up things again. Robin, as we know, is a better Ruan Mei in the ratio teams, and she's also very universally strong, just like Ruan Mei. So she is a great pickup if you need a dual DPS buffer, especially if you wanted to upgrade the rat team even further. Though without Ruan Mei's ult debuff, ideally you do have a luxury Eidolon or signature on Topaz or Aventurine. Topaz being the highest frequency attack in the game is the reason why she gets yet another buff from new units. Every single Numby attack is a Robin Concerto attack proc, and they can happen so many times during just one Concerto. Her being able to go SP neutral or even positive and still pump out most of her damage through her talent also helps with Robin's SP usage. And finally, her constant attacks really makes Robin's energy issues less of a struggle. And finally, I went over Topaz for like 5 seconds in my Harmony MC team video. It will be the same story each time. Harmony MC, Gallagher, Ruan Mei is just so strong that it works with like every carry, so technically you can run Topaz with them, and versus 5 week you should be destroying content. Numby lacks follow-ups for advances, but Ruan Mei's break efficiency compensates with stronger but fewer super breaks, rather than more but weaker super breaks. So try this out for fun if you want, I guess. Topaz and Numby, hope you enjoyed the video and hope it helped out. If it did, make sure to like and sub for the next one. Thank you to my amazing YouTube members, thanks for watching, and have a good day.